Well, hello there. I appreciate you for being here. Now that we have a nice cup of tea, we can get started. The topic of today's video is how to be a good student. The school year has already started for some of you or is just about to start, so I think that now is the perfect time to share some wisdom and help you get ready. For those of you who don't know, I'm a third-year computer science student and I've done fairly well in the past 2 years. First of all, let's talk about what it means to be a good student. For me, a good student is someone who has both theoretical and practical knowledge of the field they're in and has good grades in the subjects they're taking. Now, I know that grades aren't everything, but in my perspective, it's the combination of knowledge and good grades that makes a good student. Now that we have gotten that out of the way, let's explain why you would actually want to be a good student. Going to university is optional. It is up to you to choose whether you would want to pursue higher education or not. In most universities, you have to pay the tuition out of your own pocket. So, when you make a conscious decision to attend university and spend a lot of money on it, why would you not try to get the best out of the experience? In my opinion, going to university just for the sake of getting a degree is pointless, especially if you're trying to get a job using the degree. It makes no sense to me to half-ass university and then to have no idea what you're doing in your workplace. Furthermore, spending 4 or more years of your life in a school where you don't actually care about being good is a waste of time. A much smarter choice would be to just not go to uni and spend your time pursuing something that you're passionate about. Ever since university became more accessible to everyone, especially here in Macedonia, there's this pressure on every young person to get a degree, and I think that shouldn't be the case. As much as I value higher education, I don't think that it is the right choice for everyone, and it is definitely not the only way of being successful and achieving your dreams. Another reason for being a good student is because you will get much more job opportunities and many doors will open for you if you're good at what you're doing. I don't know what it's like in other countries, but where I live, having a good GPA allows you to apply for a scholarship that covers most of the expenses that the student has. Also, being a good student makes you feel accomplished and like you're on the right path in life. At least that's how it is for me. With all that being said, let's move on to the part where I give advice on what you should do to be a good student. The tips I'm going to share are mainly for university students, but they can apply to high schoolers as well. So, let's get going. The first and most important thing is to be organized. It is always best to get organized before the start of the school year. Make a schedule of your classes, find the required materials, get familiar with what you'll be studying, get supplies like notebooks, pens and stuff, set up your digital note-taking systems, etc. You also have to stay organized during the whole year, so make sure that you have all the deadlines written down and all the info that you might need. A great tool that will help you get organized is Notion, which you can use both on your laptop and on your phone. Another tool that I've used for taking notes is OneNote, which also syncs with your phone, so you will have your notes with you at all times. If you prefer pen to paper, a bullet journal is also a great tool that will keep you organized. I personally use both a bullet journal and digital tools because I have found that this combination works best for me. The second very important thing that goes hand in hand with being organized is to be consistent. A lot of first-year students struggle with this because the work that they have to do at university is much more than what they're used to in high school. So it's best not to let the work pile up. Be consistent. Learn each topic after the corresponding lecture. Learn and revise the labs the same day that you have them. And make sure that you do your homeworks and projects on time. It's very easy to fall off track and procrastinate studying, but it's extremely difficult to get back on track in some cases, and you'll most likely be pulling your hair out when exam week comes. You won't always have the motivation to study, but when you make a habit out of it, it will become much easier. The third thing is to attend classes. Whether they be in person or online, attending classes and labs is very important, even if attendance is not required. Along with this comes paying attention in class. There's no point in attending a class if you're not going to be mentally present for it. So make sure that you're well rested when you go to class. Otherwise, you won't be focused and concentrated on the lecture. Paying attention in class will make it much easier to learn the material afterwards. When you're in class, don't be afraid to ask questions. Teachers are there to help you, and it's always better to seek help and clarify things right away than to keep struggling. Also, if you're active in class, the teachers will notice you and remember you as a student who is willing to learn more and who actually cares about the subject. Another thing is to remember to take notes during lectures. Don't just be a passive listener. Actively participate in the lecture, write down anything that seems important and any thoughts or observations that you might have. This will make it easier to understand what you're studying and will come in handy later when you're preparing for exams. Sometimes studying with other people makes it easier to grasp difficult concepts, and your colleagues can help you learn better. Just make sure to offer help in return because this shouldn't be a one-way street. I'm aware that getting together with other students can be difficult now, but you can always make a group call on any platform that you like and help each other. Plus, it's much more fun and motivating to study when you see that other people are doing it as well. If you prefer to study alone, that's okay too. Just make sure that you have a good study setting without distractions. Your study space should be clean, well lit, quiet, and with an abundance of fresh air. Also, don't forget to remove distractions like social media while you're studying. Either keep your phone away from you or delete the apps that distract you. Another tip is to explore different sources. Don't rely on just one source of material. Google stuff, watch explanations on YouTube, read from different textbooks. When you learn about a topic from different sources and different points of view, it will be much easier to grasp the concepts and to ingrain the material in your brain. Different teachers have different requirements for their exams. You can know the material well, but still do badly on an exam if you don't know what to expect. Here is where old tests come in handy. Ask your older colleagues if they keep any old exams. You will certainly find someone who has a whole archive of them. Doing these practice tests will help you hone your knowledge in a way that will prepare you for the questions in the exams. In a perfect world, we would be able to learn something once and never forget it. But sadly, we don't live in a perfect world, and we have to revise what we've learned so that it solidifies in our memory. There's a thing called the forgetting curve, which shows how information is lost over time if there's no attempt to retain it. Here is where spaced repetition comes to save the day. What you have to do in order to stop forgetting what you've learned is to revise it several times. First, read your notes a day after you have written them. Then revise it all a week later and then a month later and so on, until you're confident enough that you have definitely understood and learned the material. Another great tip when you're struggling to understand the concept is to explain it to someone else. Try to simplify the concept so that everyone can understand it and make the other person ask you questions about it. That way, you will see what the weaknesses in your knowledge are and you will know what to pay more attention to. My final tip is to find out what the university offers. University is much more than just exams and grades. Different universities offer different opportunities, but there's something everywhere. Make sure to inform yourself on what opportunities your university offers. And don't be afraid to try something new, whether it's a student exchange in a different country or an interesting project. This might not help you get better grades, but it will definitely enrich your experience at university. Alright, that's all that I have to share. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any other tips or questions about this topic. I wish you all a very successful academic year and I will see you next week.